Hello, hello, hello. It's Keita Williams, founder and chief strategist of Success Bully. Success Bully is an elite accountability practice that makes me your personal professional butt kicker. Happiest of Mondays. Everyone, we're back in Seattle. We're back in Seattle. And so I hope that as we're working our way through March and March is almost over, who stole March? Spring has sprung, spring is upon us. I hope that you have recommitted yourself to your business, that you're taking actions every day to move things forward. And I am grateful to be here with all of you. I am grateful to have such an amazing team that supported me the last few days. And I am just absolutely thrilled to share what's been on my mind the last couple of days. Um, I think it's really funny that sometimes we keep getting the same lesson over and over until we learn it, right? Like, have you had those lessons or those moments in time, those reflection moments where you you have to kind of fix things, you have to take an inventory. I wouldn't say as far as fixing things, but there's a lesson. And I feel like the lesson that I continually learn as an entrepreneur, as I grow in the space of being a solopreneur to a CEO to whatever this journey takes me, is to keep it simple, keep the main thing, right? And fighting the urge to overcomplicate things, fighting the urge to be extra busy. This does not have to be like that. We can be in ease and flow. And so today I want to talk about the main thing. How do you keep things the main thing when we're talking about marching into action and moving your business forward with intentionality and focus? How do you keep the main thing when you may be feeling overwhelmed, where you may be busy, work may have changed, you may be dealing with your personal health issues, you may be dealing with just all these outside things circling around you. How do you keep your focus? How do you keep the main thing, right? So I got some tips, I got some thoughts, and expect updates on our side too. Because I'm refocusing on how we're keeping the main thing here on our side of the house as well. So the last couple weeks we've been kind of focused on this theme about marching into action, right? And marching into action, last week we talked about getting referrals. What are simple things that you can do that move the needle in your business as far as revenue and visibility? You can ask for referrals. You can ask for referrals. We talked about making connections. So you own the space of knocking over that first domino, reaching out to people, connecting with people, and not just people, connecting with your ideal client. I want to be real specific about that. Reaching out, staying top of mind, maintaining those relationships, right? You are in control of that. And that doesn't matter what's going on in the economy. It doesn't matter what's going on with your ad budgets. It doesn't matter. These are actions that you can take, right? And they're very simple. So asking for referrals, knocking over that first domino. So when I talk about this main thing, this is more about prioritizing, right? Prioritizing. So when things get wobbly or you're feeling overwhelmed, because I think that especially for some of our emerging entrepreneurs, it's really easy to get overwhelmed by all the things you have to do to run a business, right? Or all the things you feel like you should be doing to build your business, right? Or maybe you got a new project at work. Maybe you're working part-time in your business and full-time, you have a full-time corporate job, and suddenly you got a promotion. Your role has expanded. That's a good thing. But now, how do you manage your business while you manage this new responsibility at work? It doesn't necessarily have to be positive or negative. How do you keep the main thing the main thing? So when I think about how to prioritize your day to day, how to really think through what's the best and highest use of your time, best and highest use of your time. If you have limited time, limited energy, limited whatever, I want you to think through this. Two things: serve, sell. How do you serve the people that are already in your ecosystem, that are already on your client roster, that you already have a contractual agreement with them, or they're near closing. How do you serve them best? So prioritize serving your current clients. And then number two, focus on selling. So what are those money making activities that will help you bring more clients in? And it's just real specific on that, right? So serve and sell. So when you sit down and you only have a few minutes, I want you to look at what you got on your plate and go, okay, now does this serve my existing clients, or does this sell for new clients? If that's all you have time to do, if you are running low on time, you are running low on energy, you are running low on emotional capacity. If there are two things that when you look at what's on your plate, does it serve or does it sell? Does it serve or does it sell? And when we're talking about serving your existing clients, your 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 current program, your current offering, your current whatever you are contractually obligated for, yes, operate on that in excellence. But it doesn't take much else to keep the lines of communication open, to just take that um little extra sharing a resource, or checking in with them a little more, or increasing the communication, right? Just there's it doesn't take much. That's not going to take much more from you. And you can love up on those clients, so they are referral sources, so they want to increase their spend with you, so they want to stay with you, increase that retention. And that doesn't take a lot of time from you. You're already going to serve. It's just that little extra sprinkle. And that might be one email that you schedule, one text message that you schedule, right? It doesn't have to be some beautifully put together PowerPoint, just a little extra love. But that's real simple. That's real simple. If you cut all the other fat, if you take everything else off your plate and you serve and you sell, it really keeps things super simple for you. And so when we talk about the selling part of it, what are your money making activities? And I gave you a few of those earlier this month. Knocking over that first domino, right? So initiating conversations, following up with folks, getting proposals over in a timely fashion, you know, making sure that as you are it's time to have a renewal conversation, that you're in front of those things, right? So those money making activities really can be limited to a few minutes a day, right? Like you may have higher money making activities. So let's say things are just you have a regular week. Maybe your money making activities is to connect to 20 people a day. 20 of your ideal clients a day. And that's a regular day. The regular week, nothing crazy going on. Well, let's say, work has gotten crazy. You got this new project, or let's say you're under the weather and you need a little more rest to take care of yourself. Well, no, it's not a good idea to totally abandon your business. There are contractual implications for that, right? If you have clients and you don't do the work you promised them, you can get yourself in a whole pickle there. But you can dial it back. If you have decided that you're going to hit 20 people a day, and your time allotment that week has changed, or your energy level has shifted, or life is lifing, turn the dial down. Maybe it's 5 a day, maybe it's 2 a day. Right? There's still a compound effect. There's still a compound effect from taking some action versus no action. Some action will have a bigger impact on your business than no action. So I know I see this a lot with our part-time entrepreneurs and our emerging entrepreneurs. There's a tendency, because you have a whole other job and you have all these other obligations, to just stop working on your business for big chunks of time because you're feeling overwhelmed, right? We don't actually, you're doing yourself a disservice by doing that, right? Because you don't give yourself the opportunity to create momentum. You don't give yourself that opportunity. It's a start, stop, start, stop. And every time you start and stop, you restart the clock on the 90 days. So we always say that your business is 90 days ahead of you. When you make these abrupt stops in your business, the clock starts all over again. So that clock of momentum where you really start seeing the fruits of your labor, that comes to a screeching halt every time you take a big break from your business. Now, for my business owners that have clients, what I see when your roster is pretty full and you got it going, there's a tendency to focus so much of your time on service, right? That you're not future facing. Your head's down in the weeds, and you're not doing the money making activities to ensure that you will have a consistent flow of clients. And you'll look up and there's no clients on your roster. And then you got to start that whole 90-day cycle again, right? So whether you are full-time, part-time, whether life is lifing, whether life is lifing, whether you have so many good opportunities coming your way that it's a bandwidth issue. This doesn't have to be negative. It could be, you got several opportunities that just came your way. And now you have to triage how you're going to manage all of this. Some action is better than no action, right? So I say the main thing is the main thing: serve and sell. So if you have a very limited amount of time, and you're not, you're feeling frustrated that you aren't able to get everything done on your to-do list. As hyperachievers, I know that is exceptionally frustrating. That give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace and space. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself and know that it's temporary. Whatever you're feeling is temporary. Whatever's going on is temporary. So if you have to dial it back for a short amount of time, don't quit. Just dial it back. Turn the volume down. Don't quit. If you have to work differently in terms of you have your routine, you're out of routine, you got to work differently because things have changed. Just know you can dial it back. Just don't quit. Just don't quit. And so that's been on my heart. And I think that there's an analogy that I've been trying to work out so that it makes cohesive sense. So I'm going to try this analogy for you all right now. Let's see what test analogy. So test analogy is this. If you think about your business as a cake, if any bakers out there, if you think about your business as a cake, the main ingredients of a cake, your main ingredients are the main thing. So serve and sell. That makes your cake. That makes your cake. And if you bake a good cake, like a really moist pound cake, that's a cake that's good by itself. Like a really good cake is good by itself. It doesn't need anything else. Now, you can add frosting. You can add sprinkles. You can add fondant and fake cherries and you can make it as fancy as you want. But the reality is it starts with a good cake. Right? Have you ever had one of those cakes that are really fun? They're decorated so beautifully and they're so fun, and then you bite into the cake and it's dry and you're all upset like it was so pretty, but that cake is terrible. So I want you to think about your business from the cake analogy, right? That you can have a perfectly beautiful, delicious, wonderful cake without all of the other bells and whistles, right? You could just make cake. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. And the cake recipe is your own. I can't give you the recipe. I can make some suggestions, but you have to find the recipe that works for you wherever you are in your life right now, wherever you are in your business. Just bake the cake. Make the cake real simple batter. Focus on making the cake, because if you have a really great cake, then you have the revenue to bring in experts to help you with the frosting. You can bring in an expert to help you with the sprinkles, or you can bring in a team member that manages the flower petals. You don't have to make the 3-tier um fondant covered. I wish I had a baker baker on the live stream. You do not have to do all of those things yourself, right? So just when you think about it, go back to the basics. Bake the cake. Focus on the cake. Don't worry about the frosting. Don't worry about the sprinkles. Don't worry about the cartoon characters made of fondant. Just bake the cake. So I hope that analogy helps somebody. And that if you find yourself struggling in terms of feeling overwhelmed, right? Where you're feeling overwhelmed by your business, or you're feeling overwhelmed by all the things you have to do to run this business, I want to encourage you to take a few minutes and get some time on my calendar. Get some time on my calendar for a strategy session. I'd be happy to talk with you about, okay, like, how do we just make your cake? How do we make this real simple? What's the simplest version of this that has the highest impact, right? Like, what can we do to like, what do we need to pare down to make this business work for you, to make it something you enjoy, right? To make it something you can manage whether you're up or you're down. How do we make this something you can wrap your arms around and really love it, right? So book some time with me. I want to encourage you to grab some time at successbully.com/call. And before I let you go, we have an event on March 28th, and this is one of our favorite events. It's called the Six Figure Setup. We did it at the end of Q4. And so now we're kind of doing a Q1 recalibration. So if you are running a coaching practice or consultancy and you have yet to hit that first six figures in your business, I want you to join us for this event. On the 28th, we're going to walk through a step-by-step strategy, just kind of giving you the framework of how to get there before the end of the year, right? So if you have struggled to hit that first 100K in your business, I want to see you on that webinar on the 28th. Lucille will send around the link. Definitely grab your spot before they're gone. And I am Keita Williams. I'm the founder and chief strategist of Success Bully. Let's get after it.